While America upholds the image of democracy, peer-reviewed research reveals that our government increasingly serves the neo-colonial interests of Wall Street rather than the needs of the people. This pattern has forced desperation among the public, allowing authoritarian forces and their corporate allies to manipulate media, both social and traditional, to shift blame onto marginalized groups. This distraction conveniently shields those in power from facing the consequences of a restless and frustrated population. Politicians, chosen by a two-party system that prioritizes corporate donors, uphold neoliberal economics that place Wall Street's profits above workers' rights and the public good. Wars, both military and cultural, have become profitable tools serving the financial elite. Wall Street doesn't care about your rights. In fact, they are seen as hindrances to profit. Be it your right to control your own body, your right to free speech, or your right to bankruptcy protections, all are inconvenient to those who prioritize wealth over democracy. With courts willing to undermine the laws that challenge corporate interests and a political system that reinforces this imbalance, the people are left distracted by endless culture wars. This is precisely where we stand today. One party exploits the fears and frustrations of older working-class generations, while the other party co-opts the idealism of the young to present itself as a defender of rights. Yet, even Democratic leaders like Nancy Pelosi have called for investigations into student protests against acts of colonialism, reinforcing the fears of older generations, while other Democrats speak out against the weaponization of the justice system. The empty promises of hope and change without real action are lies of one side, while lawlessness and hate as solutions are lies of the other. Yet instead of holding these leaders accountable, our media has divided itself into partisan factions, left-leaning, neutral, and right-leaning. Each faction is willing to expose the lies of the other, but never their own, all while advancing corporate interests. These media outlets fuel culture wars, diverting attention from Wall Street's role in undermining democracy. They collectively agree that your rights are negotiable, while billionaires are to be obeyed. Whether you consume right-wing media that caters to ragged individualists, or left-wing media that pushes a neoliberal, politically correct version of collectivism, the result is the same. Both serve the interests of the financial elite. Consider the phenomenon of Obama to Trump voters, which continues to puzzle corporate media. Obama's promises of hope and change gave way to more neoliberal policies, bailouts for Wall Street, and a justice system that failed to hold anyone accountable for the 2008 economic crisis. Millions lost their homes and jobs, while fraudsters responsible were rewarded with bailouts and bonuses. This betrayal left many angry and disillusioned. Though Trump offered no real policies to improve their lives, he provided an outlet for their frustration, granting permission to blame more vulnerable groups within the working class. The anger and disillusionment created by neoliberalism's failure is often left unexamined by the media, which prefers to present the rise of Trump as a mystery rather than address its root causes. Trump and MAGA are not the solution. They are the inevitable byproducts of corporate greed and propaganda. They are symptoms of a deeper problem, a system where corporate media, billionaires, and authoritarian figures control the narrative and suppress meaningful change. The media ecosystem has trapped many in echo chambers that distort reality, allowing anger and fear to be weaponized for the benefit of Wall Street. If you want to understand why our system is failing, look not at the victims, but at those in charge. Blame the politicians who instruct you to turn on your neighbors rather than hold the economic elite accountable. Blame the media that lies to you about your children, your neighbors, and your future, all to keep you from questioning the system. Generations that were once raised to value democracy are now divided, parents from children, by a system that profits from chaos. Wall Street and its media puppets have mastered the art of creating conflict between neighbors, even within families, all in service of the wealthy. When Trump says if they can do it to me, they can do it to anyone, he is speaking not to the working class but signaling to Wall Street. His legal troubles serve as a distraction from the fact that the real power players, his financiers, and the media remain untouched. Much like the aftermath of the 2008 economic collapse, the most responsible individuals go unpunished. The working class is indeed under siege by Wall Street interests. Our media system works tirelessly to redirect blame away from the political leaders who serve these interests, covering up the real source of the problem. When corporate greed is allowed to run unchecked, civil disobedience becomes a tool of the wealthy, used to protect their interests rather than challenge them. It's time for a different approach. Instead of mere protests that are quickly silenced, we must challenge Wall Street on its own terms, using the tools of capitalism itself. This is where the Federation steps in. The Federation advocates for a new business model, one that serves the working class and democracy. By using trust and private equity, methods often employed by the wealthy, we aim to build a system that answers not to shareholders but to the people. Our governance model, based on direct democracy and ranked choice voting, will run through a privacy-safe social platform designed for and by the users. This will make it harder for political agents and courts to selectively regulate and undermine the interests of the working class. To date, the siege on the working class has been one-sided. Wall Street's culture wars have fostered violence and division, with brief protests being quickly stifled by law enforcement that serves corporate interests. As Sun Tzu famously said in The Art of War, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. The working class, always the first to suffer in war, has the most to lose from Wall Street's ambitions. It is time to take a page from Sun Tzu and fight back using the very capitalist tools the elite use to consolidate their power. If you want to work together to challenge the corruption of the 1%, like, comment, and subscribe to spread the word. Register to participate in our beta at worldeconomicfederation.com to join a social platform that respects your privacy, empowers you to organize without billionaire oversight, and becomes a force for the working class and democracy. Together, we can challenge the system and reclaim our rights. Don't occupy Wall Street, lay siege to it.